Raijin 2 at Expo Land in Satoya, Japan was operating normally.
And could be dangerous for drivers and spectators alike.
Roller coasters are fun, but this fun element can literally go out of question when the manufacturers decide not to pay attention to the safety of these rides.
Theme park in Baton Rouge ended in a disaster as a woman was thrown off a roller coaster and was sent plummeting to the ground below.
Here are the most terrifying roller coaster malfunctions, as well as some other deadly rides that cost human lives. Let's get into the video. Number 1. Fujin Raijin Saku, Expo Land, Osaka, Japan. On May 5th, 2007, a tragic accident occurred on the Fujin Raijin Daku roller coaster at Expo Land Amusement Park in Suita, Osaka, Japan. This stand-up roller coaster, manufactured by Togo, derailed and hit a guardrail, resulting in the death of 19-year-old university student Yoshino Kogawara and injuring 19 other passengers.
The ride was well liked by the public after its opening, with it quickly becoming one of the most popular rides at the park.
The accident took place when a wheel axle on one of the coaster's 6 cars broke, causing the train to derail in the last half of its 1,050-meter-long course. The coaster was traveling at speeds of up to 47 miles per hour when the derailment happened. An investigation revealed that the broken axle had not been replaced for 15 years, a lapse attributed to funding issues at the park. Following the incident, similar stand-up coasters at other Japanese amusement parks were voluntarily shut down and inspected. Expoland itself was cited by authorities for faulty maintenance when cracks were discovered on a second train just a month later. Despite reopening after the accident, Expoland faced a significant decline in attendance and closed again on December 9th, 2007. Ultimately, the park's owners decided to permanently close Expoland on February 9th, 2009. The park, which had been open since 1969 as part of the amusement zone for the 1970 International Exposition in Osaka, could not recover from the impact of the accident and the subsequent loss of public trust. Number 2. Wildcat, Bell's Amusement Park, Tulsa, Oklahoma, April 20th, 1997. On April 20th, 1997, this incident resulted from a failure in the chain lift system, causing the train to roll backwards after disengaging from the lift hill.
The boys didn't know what was happening, and neither did the other passengers or the ride attendants.
This malfunction led to a collision with another train, resulting in the death of a 14-year-old boy and injuries to 6 others. The cause of the accident was attributed to the use of unapproved materials in the anti-rollback system, which is designed to prevent trains from rolling backwards. The failure of this critical safety mechanism allowed the train to roll back down the incline. The deceased was identified as a 14-year-old boy who was ejected from the train during the collision. Among the injured were 2 other 14-year-old boys who sustained serious injuries, along with a 35-year-old man and his 3 daughters, aged 12, 9, and 3. The Wildcat roller coaster had undergone an inspection just 2 weeks prior to the accident by the Oklahoma Department of Labor, which raised questions about the maintenance practices at the park. Despite this inspection, the use of unapproved materials in the anti-rollback system had not been addressed, ultimately leading to the tragic accident. Following the incident, the Wildcat roller coaster was disassembled and relocated to another amusement park in Maryland. Although Bell's Amusement Park continued to operate other attractions after the accident, the incident led to a turning point for the park. Bell's, which had been in operation since 1951, ultimately closed in 2006 after the Tulsa County government did not renew its lease. The park faced declining attendance and financial challenges despite a successful 2006 season. Number 3. Revere Beach, Massachusetts, 1911. In 1911, Revere Beach in Massachusetts witnessed a series of tragic incidents on one of its roller coasters, resulting in 3 separate fatalities. These events underscored the urgent need for better safety measures, although these improvements were regrettably not implemented at the time.
The industry has developed extensive safety protocols and regulations to minimize the risk of accidents.
The first incident occurred in June 1911, when the treasurer of the ride was giving a safety lecture to oncoming passengers. Ironically, while emphasizing the importance of safety, he broke one of the rules himself. This led to his death. He fell out of the poorly designed restraints and was left stranded on the track. Minutes later, another train came by, dragging him over 30 feet. The man suffered severe injuries and ultimately died, showcasing the dire consequences of inadequate safety restraints. Number 4. Whizzer. On March 29, 1980, a 14-year-old boy was killed and 8 other people were injured when 2 trains collided due to a failure in the ride's braking system. The accident was caused by disruptive electrical currents that affected the safety systems of the roller coaster. This disruption led to the brakes failing to stop one of the trains, which then collided with another train in the station area. The 14-year-old boy was crushed by the oncoming train, and 8 other riders sustained injuries in the collision.
It was a seemingly innocent ride that turned deadly in the blink of an eye.
The incident on March 29, 1980, was not the first for Willard's Whizzer. The U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission complaint cited at least 11 previous instances between 1976 and 1979 involving collisions in the station area at the Santa Clara Park, resulting in numerous injuries. Other than that, 2 accidents occurred in 1976 at the Willard's Whizzer in Marriott's Great America Park in Gurnee, Illinois, injuring 13 and 18 people, respectively. Following the fatal accident in 1980, the CPSC filed a complaint against Marriott Corporation, charging them with failing to report a potential defect in the roller coaster's braking system that they had been aware of since September 1979. The complaint also alleged that Marriott violated the law by not reporting the previous accidents at the Santa Clara and Gurnee parks. As a result of the accident and subsequent investigation, the Willard's Whizzer roller coaster was eventually removed from Marriott's Great America amusement park. Number 5. Big Dipper roller coaster at Battersea Park. On May 30th, 1972, the Big Dipper roller coaster at Battersea Park in London experienced a catastrophic failure, resulting in the deaths of 5 children and injuries to 13 others.
I've been made to sleep on seat on the back seat here, and I left the seat completely there. Little Norman went pushing up in here how long time. He's hanging on very tightly in his pants listening.
The Big Dipper, a 3-car wooden coaster with a history of problems, suffered its worst accident when a mechanism released the train prematurely. During the ride's operation, a mechanism that was supposed to secure the train while it was being hoisted up a hill failed, causing the train to break loose from its haulage rope. The emergency rollback brake also failed, allowing the train to roll backwards at high speed. The train derailed, crashed through a barrier, and collided with the ground below. The youngest of the 5 children killed was just 8 years old, and the chaos of the accident caused immediate panic and confusion among riders and bystanders. An investigation revealed 51 faults with the roller coaster, including significant issues with the braking system and the overall structural integrity of the ride. It was found that the train involved was over 50 years old and had been purchased second-hand after a fire had damaged the ride in 1970. Number 6. Jetline roller coaster at Gröna Lund. The incident involved a partial derailment of one of the trains while carrying 14 passengers, leading to 1 fatality and several injuries. The accident happened when a support arm on the jetline broke off, causing the front carriage to detach from the tracks. Eyewitnesses reported hearing a metallic noise before seeing passengers fall from the ride. At the time of the incident, the roller coaster was operating at a height of approximately 8 meters. The event resulted in 1 person being killed and 9 others injured, including children. Among the injured, 1 individual was reported to be in critical condition. Witnesses described scenes of panic, with at least 1 person seen clinging to the track before being rescued. Following the incident, Gröna Lund was evacuated and closed indefinitely. The park announced that Jetline would remain closed for the entire 2024 theme park season while investigations continue. Number 7. Orlando Freefall Ride at Icon Park. This incident drew a lot of attention to safety protocols and operations at amusement parks. Tyre Sampson fell from the Orlando Freefall, which was billed as the world's tallest freestanding drop tower at 430 feet. Reports indicated that a locking malfunction allowed him to slip out of his seat during the ride's descent. Eyewitnesses described Tyre falling approximately 400 feet. Tyre Sampson weighed 383 pounds, which was above the ride's maximum weight limit of 287 pounds. Investigations revealed that the seat he was in had been manually adjusted, creating a larger gap between the harness and the seat, which contributed to his improper restraint. A forensic engineering report found that the harness proximity sensor for Tyre's seat had been tampered with, allowing the ride to operate despite the increased gap. This misadjustment meant the ride functioned under unsafe conditions, ultimately leading to the fatal fall. In the aftermath of the incident, the Orlando Freefall was closed, and an investigation continued to examine all contributing factors. Number 8. Terminal Velocity Ride. This involved a 12-year-old girl named Tegan Marty, who sustained severe injuries after a malfunction during the ride. Tegan Marty, from Parkland, Florida, visited Extreme World with her family specifically to experience Terminal Velocity, a freefall ride designed to drop participants over 100 feet into a safety net without harnesses. Unfortunately, during her ride, the operator, Charles Carnell, mistakenly released Tegan while the safety net was still on the ground. As a result, Tegan fell directly onto the concrete below, suffering multiple fractures to her back and pelvis, brain damage, and other serious injuries. Tegan was airlifted to American Family Children's Hospital in Madison, Wisconsin, where she remained in critical condition. Doctors were initially concerned she might be paralyzed due to her spinal injuries, but Tegan survived and underwent a lengthy recovery process. Number 9. Ride of Steel Roller Coaster. On July 8, 2011, an accident occurred on the Ride of Steel roller coaster at Six Flags Darien Lake in New York. The incident involved 29-year-old James Hackemer, a U.S. Army veteran who was a double amputee due to injuries sustained in the Iraq War. James Hackemer was seated in the front row of the Ride of Steel, a steel roller coaster known for its high speeds and steep drops. Due to his condition, Hackemer had no legs to secure under the lap belt, which is a standard safety measure for passengers. As a result, he was violently ejected from the ride during its operation, falling to his death. A thorough investigation revealed that the accident was caused by operator error. Despite the ride's normal operation, Hackemer should not have been permitted to ride due to the safety regulations requiring passengers' legs to be secured. The failure to adhere to these regulations led to the fatal accident. Number 10. Matterhorn Bobsled's Ride at Disneyland. On January 3, 1984, another crazy accident occurred on the Matterhorn Bobsled's Ride at Disneyland in Anaheim, California. A 48-year-old woman was ejected from her bobsled during the ride and was struck by the following bobsled, resulting in instant decapitation. The accident happened because the woman's seatbelt was not fastened. It's unclear whether she had undone it herself or if there was a malfunction. After this incident, Disneyland reviewed and improved the ride's safety protocols. Despite the accident, the Matterhorn bobsled's ride continued to operate with enhanced safety measures to ensure visitor safety. Number 11. Sailing Ship Columbia Ride. A large metal cleat detached from the side of the ride and fell, striking 2 park guests and a Disney cast member. One of the guests, a 33-year-old man, suffered severe head injuries and later died in the intensive care unit. This incident was notable as it marked the first death on a Disneyland ride where the guest was not at fault. Investigations revealed that the cleat's tie line had been replaced with an inappropriate rope material to cut costs. Other than that, the ship had approached the dock too quickly, causing the cleat to tear free since it wasn't designed to handle such force. The investigation also determined that the ride operator was not to blame. The fault lay with Disneyland for failing to provide adequate training. Proper training would have instructed the operator to reverse the ship and approach the dock at a slower speed to prevent such accidents. Following the incident, the victim's family received an estimated $25 million in a settlement against Disneyland. Number 12. Blue Bayou Water Park. On July 11, 2010, Lindsay Zeno visited the Blue Bayou Water Park Dixieland and Amusement Park in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. She decided to ride the Extreme Coaster, which had been in operation for about 3 years. Unfortunately, during the ride, she fell 30 feet from the coaster and later died from her injuries. A witness reported seeing Zeno attempting to pull the safety restraint back down over herself when the coaster made a sharp turn, causing her to be launched into the air. The investigation that followed couldn't determine whether the accident was due to a malfunction of the safety mechanism or if the restraint had never been properly locked in the first place.
Can't find anything on the ride that failed. There's no visible signs of failure. There's no visible signs of anything that didn't work properly. What we do know is this woman fell out of the...
As a result of this tragic incident, the Extreme ride permanently closed. Number 13. Askari Amusement Park in Karachi. This happened at Askari Amusement Park in Karachi, Pakistan. A ride that swung passengers back and forth like a large pendulum broke down in the middle of its operation. This catastrophic malfunction injured 25 people and resulted in the death of a 12-year-old girl. The incident left the park in shock, especially since it had only been open for 1 month. In the aftermath, the park remained closed for 6 months as officials conducted investigations and made necessary safety improvements. It wasn't until they felt confident in the park's safety measures that they reopened the doors to the public. Number 14. Adventureland Amusement Park, New York. On August 31, 2005, a 45-year-old mentally disabled woman visited Adventureland Amusement Park in East Farmingdale, New York. She boarded the Top Scan ride, which spun passengers in every direction, including upside down, using 6 free-rotating gondolas. Tragically, her safety harness broke mid-operation, and she was flung from the ride, landing on a parked car in a nearby lot. She was killed instantly.
Parks Director of Operations, Paul Gentile, expressed his condolences to the family and emphasized that the park has always prioritized safety over anything.
After this incident, the Top Scan ride never operated again. Number 15. Raging River Ride. On July 3, 2021, Adventureland in Altoona, Iowa, faced a tragic incident involving the Raging River Ride. One of the rafts overturned with 6 passengers aboard, leading to severe injuries for 4 individuals and the eventual death of an 11-year-old boy. Despite the ride having passed inspections the day before the accident, state regulators mandated its temporary closure. In 2023, park officials announced that the ride would never reopen. Number 16. Mexico City. On September 28, 2019, visitors to La Feria de Chapultepec amusement park in Mexico City witnessed a horrifying accident. The last train on the Quimera roller coaster broke loose from the track and crashed to the ground 30 feet below. 10 passengers were aboard, and 2 men died after hitting their heads on a steel support. 2 women were hospitalized, and 6 others received treatment at the scene. The park permanently closed after the incident, with investigators revealing that none of the rides had undergone routine maintenance. Number 17, Action Park in Vernon Township, New Jersey. The world's deadliest theme park vertical bar, the story of Action Park. A 27-year-old man visited Action Park in Vernon Township, New Jersey on August 1, 1982, and boarded the Kayak Experience ride. After his kayak tipped over, he stepped out to flip it back and accidentally stepped on a metal grate too close to live wiring that powered the underwater fans. He was severely electrocuted, went into cardiac arrest, and died shortly after. The park's claim that he couldn't have died from electrocution because he didn't suffer burns was contradicted by the coroner's findings. Despite the New Jersey Labor Department clearing the park of mismanagement, the ride never reopened. Number 18. Disneyland's Big Thunder Mountain. In September 2003, Disneyland's Big Thunder Mountain Railroad experienced a crazy accident. 1 man died and 10 people were injured when the open passenger train cars separated, causing the coaster to come off its tracks. Riders were trapped in a cavern as emergency personnel worked to free them. Investigations determined that improper maintenance procedures by Disney staff led to the accident. That is crazy. The ride has since undergone refurbishments and remains operational. Number 19, Roger Rabbit Cartoon Spin Ride. Well, these things are just more sad when kids are involved. In this Disneyland incident, a 4-year-old boy fell from the Roger Rabbit Cartoon Spin Ride in September 2000 and became trapped under a car. He suffered internal injuries and brain damage, spending weeks in a drug-induced coma before passing away 8 years later in 2009. Disney subsequently made safety improvements to the ride, including installing doors and skirt-like bumpers on the coaster's cars. The ride remains open, with passengers continuing to enjoy the adventure through Toontown. Number 20, Schlitterbahn Water Park in Kansas City. On August 7, 2016, a 10-year-old boy died on the Verruckt water slide at Schlitterbahn Water Park in Kansas City. The raft he was riding went airborne, causing him to strike a metal rod used to hold a safety net, resulting in decapitation. 2 other passengers were also injured. Though the theme park owner and the slide's designer faced criminal charges, a judge dismissed them due to improper evidence. The water slide was dismantled 2 years later. Number 21, Thunder River Rapids Ride at Dreamworld. In 2016, the Thunder River Rapids ride at Dreamworld in Queensland, Australia, experienced a fatal malfunction. 2 rafts collided, causing one to flip and trap its passengers. 4 people died, though 2 young children managed to escape unscathed. The ride was decommissioned, and the entire park temporarily shut down for a safety review. Since reopening, the park has not had any further accidents. And that is all for today. Make sure you hit that like button and share this video with your loved ones.